So today we're doing an install of thermostat install on a 2007 Dodge Caravan, 3.3 liter. If you look at the thermostat, it is part of the housing. It's notched in there. It won't come out. When you buy a new one, it should come like this. Unless you have an older one, that'll have a separate that pops out like that. And to install this one, it has a gasket like that, which is flat side goes to the engine, the notch side goes to the thermostat housing. And it doesn't matter which way the gasket goes on because it's exact same all the way around. Just make sure you put the notch side, if it's notched, but if it's just flat, I believe it'll be notched, and the flat side goes to the engine. So then it goes like that. And when you install this, if you look, there's a bump out on the housing, and that goes to the outside of the engine. If you look at it from here, that goes to the outside of the engine. Now you can't put it like this because it'll bump up against the engine and won't be able to tighten down. So make sure it sits like that on the outside of the engine, and that goes to the inside of the engine. And it's two 13mm bolts. You just run one through or run them both through, and then stick that on there, tighten them down, torque them if you wish, but don't over tighten. As you can see, it looks like that. And after you get that on, your hose goes back on, and it's long side to the engine, short side to the rad. It'll look like that. Mine's kind of bent here, but it should go straight up. When mine heats up, it'll straight out. And you have clamps like that. There's one small clamp for the engine side and one larger clamp for the rad side. And if you look at these clamps, if you squeeze them hard enough, they have a little notch that'll catch it there, so it'll stay open. And then when you can put it back on there and then just hit it or something, or unclick it, and then it'll tighten down. There's your 13mm bolts. And don't forget, if you have one like this that comes out of this housing, it goes into the engine like that. This side first. And if you look on there, there's a little small tab at the bottom. That should line up somewhere on your housing, if your housing has that little notch on it. So if you look at the way this one sits, this one will sit the same way in the engine. So I believe if we put it in there like that, it'll go in like that. I don't know, it's hard to explain. You'll see the little notch on your, it's right there. It should line up on that one. But if you don't have one, it doesn't really matter. Oops, sorry. If you don't have a notch or don't know how this goes in, like whether it be like off center or what, you're not sure, it should go in no matter what. No matter which way you have it turned, if it's not notched on the housing. And remember, that part goes into the engine. And that's most of it, I believe. If you have any questions, let me know, comment. And you could put some silicone on there just to make sure it doesn't leak if you're reusing your gasket and reusing your housing and stuff after cleaning and whatnot, whatever you're doing. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching.